day and welcome to this Thursday edition of Erongo Talk here in Walvis Bay at the Walvis Bay Privaat Hoërskool. My name is Adolf Kaure and I'll be your host for this bombastic show. So in this show, we'll have an interview with various school principals as schools have recently reopened. We'll also bring you the news, weather and tides as usual. So don't go anywhere. Here is today's calendar day. It is now time for the news. QKR Namibia Navagat Gold Mine donated more than 37,000 face masks worth an estimated 100,000 Namibian dollars to the Erongo Health Directorate for use by healthcare workers. So the donation was made through the office of the governor. Speaking at the handover, Governor Neville Andre said that more awareness is needed to teach people on how to wear masks properly. We need to educate our people on how to wear masks. There are many people who do not cover their noses when they wear their masks, he said. According to Andre, due to the recent lifting of travel restrictions between regions by President Hage Geingob, there could be an expected influx of people to the Erongo region. Some of these people could cause a health hazard. We must be ready for this influx. The region's leadership must strengthen efforts related to the enforcement of preventative measures, Andre said. Secondly, the global organizer of Earth Day, Earth.org, released the Africa Climate Ambassador Toolkit in partnership with a cohort of sub-Saharan youth-led organizations, including Liberian Youth for Climate Actions, Environment Savers Zambia, the Ainai Malaika Foundation, Kichini Gardeners, and Renew Earth Inc. on 29 July. The interactive toolkit enables teachers, government officials, members of civil society, and parents to educate youth on the local impacts of climate change and inspire the next generation on environmental activism. The free online guide includes a variety of interactive exercises, lesson ideas, and more that can teach youth how they can engage in climate restoration in their communities. En nou iets in Afrikaans. Met die COVID-19 pandemie wat voortwoed, het Spar Namibia besluit om 'n virtuele uitdaging aan te bied vanaf 6 tot 6 op 4 September. Inskrywings kos 60 Namibian dollars en het reeds op 26 Mei geopen en sluit op 15 Augustus. Met die pandemie kan ons nie groot groepe mense bymekaar bring nie, so ons kan geen begin en eindpunt hê nie. Daarom het ons nie ons jaarlikse pretdraf gehou en ons moes aanpas, sê Elsabie van Zyl, Rekalme bestuurder van SPA, Weskaap en Namibia. Van Zyl sê die hoofdoel is tans om goeie moed onder gemeenskaplede te hou. Loer gerus op ons webwerf www.com.na vir meer nuus.
So joining us today is Mr. Sinvula Sibanga. He is the principal of Swakopmund Secondary School. Hi, Mr. Sibanga, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So, Mr. Sibanga, it's your first day back at school. The ministry has allowed you to return to school as normal. but obviously it's not normal amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. How are you feeling on your first day? How are you experiencing the students on their first day back?
Well, students are very excited. Remember, they've been on cohort system for almost a year and a half now. They've missed each other so much. They've missed the fact that they come in great numbers. Swakopmund Secondary School, as we all are aware, has been one of the big schools, and the learners enjoy actually also the fact that they know there are so many. So with the cohort system, it kind of gave them that a bit of relaxed mode and whatever. So the news was received with excitement by the learners. But of course, on another hand, this arrangement comes with numerous challenges. Of course, we all know, as much as educators would want to prepare our learners thoroughly for the examinations, we are also mindful about the fact that our health also is at risk. But besides, we have to just adhere to the protocols as set out by the Minister of Health and Social Services, and also reinforce that as educators. Otherwise, if we don't, at the end of the day, we will not be able to balance life with COVID-19, as well as providing the necessary quality education. Yeah.
So, Mr. Sibanga, obviously this was not going to come without its lack of challenges, and you have touched briefly on challenges. What are the challenges that your school is expecting ahead?
Of course, our classrooms are overcrowded, and they have been overcrowded even before COVID-19 came into being, into existence actually. Of course, we just need to deal with the situation as we dealt with it before. We have decided, for instance, to just make a trial for these 2 days remaining in this week. Then on Friday we'll come back to drawing board and see whether it can work or it can't work. Then we can probably speak to the regional office and see if we can relax some of the grades in order to decongest the school if need be. But I spoke to the learner this morning and I said, look, it all depends on you, on your behavior. If you give us the right attitude by adhering to COVID-19 protocols, then we can continue with this arrangement, which is, of course, beneficial to all of us. Our work will be complete on time. You will also enjoy lessons every day. So it should come from both of us, learners and the teachers, as I earlier said. So challenges are, of course, definite. They are there. We are overcrowded. The classrooms can't carry the number of learners we have. We are actually about 1,416 learners enrolled this year. And of course, remember when we were enrolling learners, COVID-19 has been around. And we were mindful of the fact that a class can have 50, for example, 50 learners, and you divide them into 2 for lessons. And now, unfortunately, we need to bring all these learners together as one, in one class. So challenges are definitely there, but we'll see how we can move on with, despite the challenges that we have.
Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Sibanga.
Welcome.
So joining us today is Ms. Frans, a teacher here at Namib High School. Hi, Ms. Frans, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Ms. Frans, the schools have resumed again, finally, after much wait for it. How are you feeling now that the schools have resumed?
We are back at school. We are healthy. We are doing well. We are excited to be back. Most of our learners are back. So all I can really say is that we are excited to be back, to get busy, to start with the work, to continue with the work, because we have a lot to cover. We lost a lot of time.
And then, Ms. Frans, you lost a lot of time among many, many other things. So what have been the biggest challenges for the Namib High School community in the COVID-19 pandemic?
All right, if I think about a challenge in terms of, during the lockdown period, we had to make use of a lot of e-learning. or the e-learning system, it was a challenge in terms of most learners. They don't have access to smartphones. If they have smartphones, they don't have data. Most of them don't have Wi-Fi at home, so that was really a challenge getting them on the groups. You know, first of all, collecting all of their telephone numbers. Secondly, getting them being active on the group, getting them downloading the homework, doing the actual homework. Because last year what we did was the learners had to come collect the work. That was a bit okay. But now this year we just had to adapt to e-learning, get them busy with that. We also experienced that the learners did not do the homework. You know, there were some learners that just blatantly said that we did not do the homework because of challenges like what I've just mentioned. Yeah, so that is, I think, one of the things that we can look at. Secondly, in terms of learners, you know, for the grade 11s, we are so behind. We lost a lot of time last year. We are behind. We are trying to push in extra classes, afternoon classes. We're trying to do all of this, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge. The learners also, some of them lost their loved ones. You know, some of them are not mentally at a space where they can really sit and focus because they have things that they're thinking about. So yeah, it is a challenge. We are trying to do our best here at Namib High School, but otherwise we remain positive. We as teachers and the Namib High community, we believe in supporting each other, doing our best, supporting our learners. We currently have a support system where we are working with our school counselor, you know, to see these learners, because we want to push them through. We don't want any learner to be left behind.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Frans.
Mr. Van Wyk, school has started. We're still in the COVID-19 pandemic. Could you please just tell us, how did the Duine Secondary School prepare itself for the influx of learners? Because everyone is back today. Yeah. How did you prepare?
The first thing that we will do is we will make sure that we have follow all the protocols that we have in place, and we make sure that we have all the materials, sanitizing products. We definitely will need some more of the thermal guns, right? And we will focus more on the screening process to make sure that when learners enter the building, that they are clear that we will not allow any sick learners or learners that have been in contact with other individuals, just to make sure, because it's difficult now to adhere to the social distancing, but we can make sure when we screen them, that learners that enter the building, that they are not sick, they have not been in contact with any person that has COVID-19.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Van Wyk, it's the second trimester. What are you going to focus on in terms of academics?
Now, the thing that we will now first start with is we have looked at the remainder of the work that still needs to be covered, and we will make sure that we cover that. So that we also need to consider that the fact that we still need to do a revision and assessment.
Yes.
That is our strategy. The number of days left, we will write the work that still needs to be covered, and that. And we must also consider, as I've said, the assessment that needs to be done, test that needs to be written, and also this mock examination.
Yes. When is the exams going to start?
For the 8th, 9th, and 10th, the end of the exams.
Yes.
Will start in November. Okay. Say around about from the 20th, and the grade 11s and 12s, they will write a mock examination, a regional examination that will start on the 6th of September until the end of September.
Okay, so it's a lot of hard work now.
A lot of hard work now, and then the final exams will start around mid-November.
And then, Mr. Van Wyk, as principal, what would you like to tell your learners just to motivate them in this pandemic? What message do you have for them?
The message that I have for them is that although we are surrounded by darkness, I know that many of the learners have lost relatives because of this, due to this pandemic. I will advise them to just focus on them, try their best, I think it is one way that you can fight this. Just to focus on your work, do the best that you can, although we are surrounded by the darkness of this.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Van Wyk.
Ek is hier met die principaal van Walvis by Privaat Hoërskool, meneer Henjan van der Wyd. Hoe gaan dit vanoggend?
Dit gaan baie goed, dankie. Heerlik om hier te kan wees en voorreg om julle by ons te kan hê vanmôre. Baie welkom.
Baie dankie. So, Walvis by Privaat Skool het nou 60 geword. Wat in hierdie 60 jare, wat was julle se grootste hoogtepunt?
Jongens, as na hoogtepunte kyk, wat 'n voorreg. Ek dink ons skool het uitgestaan rondom ons akademiese prestasies. Die skoolbestuure, die personeel, die ouers. Ons skool het 'n baie trotse naam. Ons het 'n ongelooflike goeie trek rekord met ons sportaktiwiteite en uitslae. Ons is maar 'n plattelandse dorp en ons kompeteer met die grootes in die land en een van die toonaangewende skole in die land wat sport, kultuur en akademie. Ja. So wat dit dan betref, dink ek is ons baie trots op ons ouers, ons gemeenskap, ons personeel. En is voorware trots om verbonde te kan wees aan Walvis Baai Privaat Hoërskool. Die skool het werklik groot hoogtes bereik in die manier waarop homself handhaaf rondom al hierdie aktiwiteite reeds genoem. En dis 'n voorreg en ons is 'n trotse skool en 'n trotse gemeenskap. En dit maak ons skool redelik uniek want as soveel skole baie hoor wat een of die ander aktiwiteite op 'n stadium regtig nie meer funksioneer soos wat dit moet nie. Ons het die voorreg dat ons voluit kan presteer. Alhoewel sport en kultuur in hierdie tyd nou vir ons 'n moeilike uitdaging geraak het om te kan hanteer, so ons werk baie hard in die akademie.
Ja. So, julle moes nou die 60ste verjaarsdag gevier het, maar hoe het nou die pandemie, hoe het dit dinge moeiliker gemaak dat julle nou die verjaarsdag vier?
Kyk, het heeltemal 'n groot invloed op dit gehad, want ons wil baie graag, ons het 'n hele feesprogram gehad wat ons voorberei het, al van verlede jaar begin het met die voorbereidings. Groot aktiwiteite beplan vir vanjaar, samekoms, reunies wat ons wou gehad het met studente van die laaste 60 jaar, oud personeel, skoolhoofde, leerders. Hierdie goed kon nie realiseer nie. Ons was in hierdie tyd wat ons skool 60 dan nou die verjaarsdagvieringe voorgereël was, het die beperkings weer gekom na 10 mense maksimum by social gatherings, soos wat die president dit deurgegee het. Dit maak dit regtig moeilik en dan kan jy nie hierdie aktiwiteite nie. Ons het 'n musiekblyspel wat ons gereël gehad het wat die kinders klipbaar die hele jaar aangeoefen het. Dan aan hierdie feesverrigtinge, ons sou aktiwiteite op ons sportterrein gehad het. Ons het die gemeenskap wat ons wou betrokke gehad het, niks van hierdie kon realiseer nie. Wat wel nog realiseer is dat ons nog steeds voortgaan met ons memorabilia, ons feesblad, wat eie aan sy soort is. Dis 'n 60 jaar feesblad met artikels, foto's en beriggies van 1961 tot en met nou, wat nooit weer beskikbaar gaan wees nie. Daar's net 'n beperkte aantal van hierdie boeke beskikbaar. Ons stel dit beskikbaar en dan het ons kinders en ouers en gemeenskap die wat belangstel, het ons 'n feeshemp, feespet en soos die Engelsman sê 'n visor of 'n skerm, 'n sonskermpie wat deel van ons verrigtinge uitmaak. Ons wou dit alles baie graag gebruik en hanteer het by ons feesvieringe wat nie kan nie. Maar is nie nodig dat ons met dit afskaal nie. Dit kan ons bly bemark en aan ons personeel en die ouers beskikbaar stel. Maar die feesvieringe as sulks kon ongelukkig nie op hierdie stadium voortgaan soos beplan nie. Die beplanning is wel dat ons so 'n bietjie later wel die kinders nog op 'n stadium bymekaar gaan kry en dat ons as skool dankie gaan sê en dat ons ook 'n gedenkdiens gaan hou rondom die verjaarsdagvieringe of die feit dat ons skool 60 jaar lank die geleentheid kon hê om nog te kan bestaan. Dit maak dit net moeilik op hierdie stadium met die getalle waar ons nie meer as 50 mense nou, soos tans, by 'n byeenkoms mag wees nie.
Okay, wat sien jy vir die volgende 60 jare vir die skool?
Ons droom is dat ons skool sal bly voortgaan met uitstekende uitnemende onderwys, dat die akademie altyd, en ek dink dat ons onder die top 5 in die land graag sal wil bly. Dit is ons droom. Ons wil die toon aangee met sport, met kultuur. Ons is 'n skool van uitnemendheid en ons wil graag hê 'n ouer moet, as hy wil skool praat aan die kus, moet hy weet dit wel soos daai private hoërskool. Dis waar ek my kind wil wees. So ons wil onsself bly laat identifiseer as die skool en die etiket dra dat ons skool topgehalte studente vir Namibië gaan oplewer.
Okay, skole het nou geopen die week. Hoe is die kinders? Is hulle opgewonde? Hoe is die gees met die onderwysers en even met jou?
Ja, ons is bly ons kan terug wees. Die impak van hierdie COVID-19 is ongelooflik. Ons het soveel emosionele trauma en kinders wat agterraak en ons is so dankbaar dat ons kan terug wees by die skool. Die ouers is bly, die kinders is opgewonde. Dis dit is soos 'n vakansie. Kan nie almal is opgewonde om net hulle staaltjies te vertel. So ons is baie So ons is almal dankbaar ons kan terug wees en ek dink in hierdie tyd het die mense net besef hoe bevoorreg ons is om goeie onderwys te kan hê, om in 'n skool te kan wees en opvoeding en onderrig te kan ontvang. Ek dink ons het besef net weer die waarde van dit. Baie keer neem ons hierdie goed vir granted. En dan erken ons nie altyd die voorregte wat ons het nie. Ek dink hierdie maak 'n mens net weer dankbaar vir al die voorregte wat ons so sommer net as vanselfsprekend aanvaar.
Ja, dis 'n geleentheid. En laastens, wat is jou boodskap vir al die leerlinge, die onderwysers, die ouers en al die mense in die hele gemeenskap?
Gesien in die lig van wat ons land en die hele wêreld nou beleef rondom COVID-19, dink ek moet ons knie op die grond leef en in dankbaarheid leef en elke dag voluit leef asof dit ons laaste is, want nie enige iemand van ons weet wat môre regtig van ons inhou nie. Ons beplan en ons het drome en dit moet so wees, want dit is wat ons dryfveer is na alles toe en aspirasies gee en goeie doelwitte te hê. Maar leef vandag voluit en maak vandag gebruik asof dit jou laaste dag gaan wees. Leef voluit en gee jou alles. En leef in blydskap. Die lewe is kort. Ons het baie vriende verloor in hierdie tyd. So ons is almal stikkende harte. Maar as ons iets daaruit kan leer is dat ons voluit moet leef en elke geleentheid gaan aangryp. Dit wat ons altyd maar net as vanselfsprekend aanvaar het.
Baie dankie dat jy saam met ons gesels het vanoggend.
Baie welkom en dankie vir julle saamkuier. Mooi dag vir julle.
Dankie.
Good day everyone, I am Jaden Frey, the sub-editor of the Art Express, and today I would want to share with you guys ways on studying. 2 ways on how I study. The first way is to take a random page in your books, for example your biology books. And you take a page and you read through a paragraph, 2 to 3 sentences, and you read it very fast without actually concentrating or understanding what you're reading. But the second time you read through it, you should read it very attentively. Try to understand what you're reading you should read it very slowly. Thereafter, you put the page away, you've written on, and then you take a clean page and you write what you remember. In that way, you will learn to study very fast and to remember that stuff in the long term. It is very helpful, and believe me, it really helps. The second study tip I have that I want to share with you guys is when you also take a script and you read through about 2 sentences, you do a voice recording, and then you listen to it whenever you're busy with chores. You listen to it when you're busy washing dishes, or even when you're jogging or when you're raking the yard. You listen to it whenever you're busy, and in that way you do your chores, but in the same way you're also studying. You're not stopping to study, and it's very helpful. Like you can even listen to it when you're eating or anything. And it has been very helpful to me, but it would be most helpful to people that like listening to music. Listening to a song, and after 2 days you sing the song with that person, and you know the song out of your head. So that's just another way of listening to yourself while you're busy. Guys, study tips are very important, and it would be important in the long run, like when you go to universities and all that. It's just a better view of knowing yourself and knowing how you should study to get better understanding at your work. It's not always that a teacher should teach you in order for you to study and to know your work, but for you to know yourself better. Thank you guys for listening to this video. I really appreciate it a lot, and I hope you will use these 2 study tips for your own advantage. Thank you.
It is now time for the tides and the weather forecast for all the major towns in the Erongo region. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Erongo Talk. It was a pleasure having you in my company. So do not forget that we have a website, which is www.erongo.com.na, where you can catch so much more as well as the news. You can also catch us on WhatsApp and Telegram, and our number there is 081 17 00040. I repeat, that is 0811 7 00040. And tomorrow we'll be back in Swakopmund with more. And do not forget that we are still in the middle of the pandemic, so do make sure that you wear your masks, sanitize, and keep a social distance. So from me, Adolf Kaure, it has been a pleasure. See you again tomorrow.